don't know how the camera angle is lining up. Good morning to books all over the bottom of the stairs. My name is Lorene and hopefully you can see my head. I have a different project today. I'm going to go through most of these books and I'm going to try and figure out what's my reading plan for this year. Usually in June, which is practically over, I do the awards for the children's literature, teens and middle readers, Canadian and American. And last year I bumped into another one that was for Britain. So, hi Kitty. So I haven't had the chance to follow up on that. And as you can see from my breathing, I'm still having troubles with my lungs. There's a lot of scar tissue, so doing 3 flights of stairs in under 5 minutes is bad plan. So because of that and other related things, I just find it hard to have high energy levels. So what I thought I would do, instead of spending time on the computer and bringing in more books and just making like a kind of, there's a little bit of despair connected to this, so I'm just feeling a little overwhelmed. So I thought I would just go through what I already have and make a pile of the stuff I really, really want to watch, and then a pile of the stuff that I'm kind of ambivalent about. Then I will, at the end of the summer, I'm going to let go of some of the things that have been here for just a little too long. Some things have come because people said, oh, you'll like this or what have you. You know, you get that pile of books that you're kind of doubtful about from the get-go. So I'm going to just let that go from my life today and tomorrow, like as in the end of the summer. So between those 2 purges, we'll see what happens. So what I'm going to do, you don't care because that's happening in the editing. See you in a minute. Okay, well, there's so many different things. I don't know whether I should categorize stuff by how long it's been on my shelf or, you know, it's just overwhelming. So I have library books and they always seem to, this, oh my goodness, can you see how thick that one is? It's supposed to be really good, but Steve bought it last summer for his birthday. This is Ursula Le Guin, So Far So Good, Final Poems, 2014 to 2018, which I started to read. I thought it was going to be kind of a wise woman's words because she's such a good author and has such interesting bits of philosophy, but she's kind of crabby. So that one, I'm not sure. I'm still in the middle of the Penguin Books of Mermaids, which I read at bedtime. So I think I'll leave that one as a bedtime reader. And Gathering Moss by Robin Kimmerer is still on, I'm about halfway through. I need to put a little more of an effort into Robin Kimmerer. And that's in my nonfiction pile. Okay, Charlotte Bronte. I thought I would reread because, you know, everybody's doing the Jane Austen stuff and I just thought, well, I liked this one. But then I have discovered that there is a YA retelling of this story called Ayesha at Last, which I have ordered from the library. So I'm going to let Charlotte Bronte go back to the shelf. Ta-da! This is Plautus, Pot of Gold and Other Plays. And I think I'm going to take this one up to the camp for those moments when I just want something a little bit different. I did read these in university and enjoyed them quite a bit. So this is going to go on the camp pile. The Old Man in the Sea. I really enjoyed that by Hemingway back in the day, and I have read it since. But there was a bunch of commentary going on around on YouTube, and I thought, oh, I should reread that. And then I thought, I don't need to reread that. I enjoyed it the first time. I remember the references. So that goes back on the shelf. All right. Ishmael, An Adventure of the Mind and Spirit by Daniel Quinn. I read this when I started to get back into reading for YA, which was, you know, about a dozen years ago, and I really enjoyed it. It's very much a philosophical kind of sharing of life and the meaning of life, the questions of life, and I think this is going to make a good winter book. So it's on the winter pile now. Will I remember what all these different piles are? Moonfleet is one that Steve really enjoyed as a boy. I think it was sort of his entry point into books about the sea, and I'm pretty sure I read it. So this is one I want to just double check in with. If I've read it, then it will quickly go back onto the shelf. So where does that one go? Goes under my knees. Nonfiction. Okay, same thing with Wizard of Earthsea, also by Ursula Le Guin. Really enjoyed this. I read this in university for a fantasy class, and I started to reread it, but not loving it as much. I think part of the issue here is I've read so many things since that the novelty is a little bit of a challenge, so I'm going to put that in my winter bedside reading pile. Hello, Cleo. Which one do you... you might have seen the books fall on her head, but she actually... I missed her, so she didn't get hurt. Right? No bruises. Ursula Franklin, she's a Quaker. This is a series of essays that she did for CBC's Massey Lectures, and it is the real world of technology. And what I think I'm going to do for this one is see if I can get the original Massey lecture notes and listen to it audioly, because with other readings that I've done, she's got a sort of a circle of topics, and so I think it starts to feel like I've read it before, but I know I haven't. So I think I'm going to do this one as audio. That has its own little pile, huh, Cleo? Okay. Grapes of Wrath by Steinbeck. I identified this as a classic last year that I really wanted to get to and didn't, so where will that go? Classics. Marie Claire Blais, Mad Shadows. I love this book, and I have read it a couple times now, and I read it last year and talked about it with you guys. She's here so that I don't forget about her as an author, so she's in the author pile. I'm not going to remember what any of these piles are. Right. Charles Dickens, Tale of Two Cities. What more is there to say? Gonna put it in the classics pile. Oh yes, this is one I've been meaning to get to for quite a while. The City of Ladies. Yes, this is a series of commentary back and forth between, I'm just gonna call them wise guys. I don't know if it's men and women or Christine de Pizan, and it was written a long time ago. This is a classic, and it's kind of I'm going to consider it a non-fiction book, because it's, yeah, there's no plot or characters or that, so non-fiction. Oh, I didn't read this last summer. It was supposed to be kind of weird. The Frog by John Hawkes. A French child asleep beside his lily pond shortly before the First World War swallows a frog. Mysteriously, the creature survives within him and endures throughout the boy's life, a life filled with an exhilarating power over others. An Aesopian fable? An ironic children's story? Oh, that's the clock. It's now 2 o'clock. Okay, so this one's kind of a mystery book. Let's see, put this over here with the undiscussed at this moment. This one I picked up last summer in the hopes of reading it. I just love W.P. Kinsella. He did the Silas stories, which are stories of the reservation, First Nations, and so far I have not come across anybody going, what's that W.P. Kinsella think he's doing situation. So I'm assuming that whatever the backstory to this, it's okay with First Nations. Anyhow, I really enjoyed them at the time, before I was very alert to First Nations contemporary issues. So I consider it a classic, but I don't know how it stands up in current times. So I'm going to put that in the classics. I mean, you know, maybe he'll just kind of exit the lexicon of classics. Yes. Oh, Heart's Blood by Jane Yolen. This is one of the one, I don't really know how it came into my hands. I think it was possibly referenced by one of the people who really likes dragon books, and it just somehow was in my stash. So this is also a I'm not sure I'm going to read it book. Goes in the winter. I love dragons, and I love Jane Yolen, but The Traveler in Time by Alison Utley, also sort of magic and very British and of a certain era, and I don't know how it holds up, so I'm going to put it in the for September pile. Tony Hillerman. This is the next one, The Ghost Way. I've been rereading Tony Hillerman, and this is a detective. Tony Hillerman kind of changes his point of view. There's a few detectives and people that archaeologists, detective kind of people, anthropology, and it's a Leaphorn and Chi novel, and it takes place down around the Hopi and Navajo nations. So this I picked up over the winter to read for the summer. So it's a for sure gonna read it, which is a whole different pile, isn't it? Circle of Quiet by Madeleine L'Engle, who wrote the, I want to say the Twinkle trilogy, but I know that's not right. Twilight? Oh, Wrinkle in Time. That's how you get twinkle. A wrinkle in time is a twinkle. So I have read this once before. It's very philosophical. It's kind of about life and what it's like to have an artistic pursuit and meet up against roadblocks and so forth. But this might be good at the camp because it's nonfiction, but it's kind of memoir. So let's see what happens. All right, this is the other Ursula Franklin book that's been on my pile for a decade, I believe, and it's a continuation of her Massey lectures, and it's about pacifism as a map. So I think I'm going to put this one on hold for the winter so that once I get the audio one done, I should put it with the audio one, so maybe it turns out that's also on audio. All right, American Street by Ibi Zoboi. I have no idea why it's on my shelf. I'm going to put that in the I don't know pile. I've lost the I don't know pile. All right. James Lee Burke, The Tin Roof Blowdown. I did same thing, bought this last winter for this summer. He's an American author who writes about New Orleans, down around where it's south. There's always a hurricane or a flood or something like that in the background. It takes place amongst whites and Creoles and gangsters and upper class people, and the conflicts and corruption in all those sectors. And it's a tough, as a rule, it's a tough one. And if I remember, there's a really gruesome part in here that kind of threw me off for a while of murder mysteries. But since then, I have read lots of gruesome things, so I'm a little stronger. So that's in a definite for sure. All right, that's a Steve, and that's a Steve. That's a Steve. Okay, Love Letter to the Earth by Thich Nhat Hanh. Steve bought that for me many Christmases ago, and we were going to try and do it as a read aloud, but it doesn't really, it might work as a sort of Sunday quiet time meditation book. I think we were reading it more as a book for discussion, and I think really it's more for contemplation. So I have to think about that one for a minute, where that'll go. Colette, Gigi and the Cat, same deal, a classic that I read way back in high school, and I just would like to reread it. I remember enjoying it. Let's see if I still do. Panda and the East Side by Gabriel Prendergast. Another one that I don't know why it came into my life, so it goes in the I don't know why it's here pile. All right, we've got a few, that kind of can go, yeah, we don't know. If on a Winter's Night a Traveler. Now, again, I meant to read this in the winter, so that's kind of simple. Some of these books I don't even know if I need to read in the summertime. We'll just put them in the winter pile and call it quits. All right, The Boy in the Black Suit by Jason Reynolds. Now, I read his graphic novel, what was it called? Up and Down, Down and Up. That one was about a young boy whose brother had just been murdered by a what do you call that? Pass-by shooting. And so, really fabulous author, Jason Reynolds. Wow. So The Boy in the Black Suit is, let's see, he's been wearing the black suit every day since his mom passed away, but that's not why he's wearing it. He just got a gig at the local funeral home. Hey, don't judge. It pays a hell of a lot more than the Cluck Bucket. $30 a day, not bad. So, yeah, I think this is a good one to read. Where will that go? That will go with the two murder mysteries, but it's not a murder mystery. Okay. here are the books. Oh, one more. Peter Houtman, same kind of thing. The author of Goddess. This is Invisible, and I don't remember what it's about, but I love this author. So that goes in the gonna read it in the summer pile. All right, this is part of my Canadian classics. I'm going to read that next because that's what I want to talk about next time, or in a time or two. Legend Born, I just finished, and my book club is talking about it tomorrow night, so I'll be back to you with that. This is also Robin Wall Kimmelmer, Braiding Sweetgrass, been here 2 years, time to finish. I'm pretty close to the halfway point. Nonfiction, nature writing, should be good. Thomas King, poetry. I'm going to put that with Thich Nhat Hanh because for a similar kind of a reason, you know, read it and think about it. Okay, these are the books that I purchased over the course of the year and haven't got to. I thought that I would be finished them by now. So, Helen Humphreys, Rabbit Footbill. My book club is going to read this for the month of July, so that's got to come up pretty soon in my reading stack. Helen Humphreys is a Canadian author and poet that I just love. She's definitely one of my top 10 contemporary favorites. Contemporary women favorite authors. And it's about a guy whose name is Rabbit Foot Bill. And it's really, really interesting. But I'm not going to spoil it for you. So that'll be coming up in July. Classic, didn't get to last year, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That's a for sure book. Passing's been here for a while because I'm supposed to be reading that in conjunction with Shannon at That's So Poe. She's having troubles getting it from the library, and I bought it. So I'm just waiting for Shannon's go-ahead. So don't know when that'll happen. I will email her. Mandela by Pearl S. Buck, another classic, which is one I haven't read. This one's set in India. And yeah, I think, well, you know, Pearl S. Buck is pretty solid, although she's, yeah, when did she write? She would have been pre-World War II, I think. Yeah, let me just check. She's a solid author if you're looking for anything that... the John Day edition is in 1970, so I'm not sure when it was actually written, though. And she's got over 20 books. Come, My Beloved is one you may have heard of, and Imperial Women is one you may have heard of. Oh, there's another one that's been done into a movie. Oh my gosh, what is it called? I'm not seeing it here. Anyways, she's really a solid old-time writer. I would say she's a classic, but she's also somewhat dated because the conditions of the countries that she's writing about have changed so dramatically. China before communism, India while the Raj was still in place. So yeah, definitely those worlds have changed, which is kind of it's kind of fun to go back and see what it was all about, and just recognize that it was during colonial periods of time, but you get well, I wasn't there, so I don't know, but it feels like a really authentic voice as to what was going on. All right, this one, Alatso, is one that has been recommended all over BookTube, and it's in America very similar to the current one, but there are some differences. America has been shaped dramatically by magic, monsters, knowledge, and legends of its indigenous people. Alatso lives in the slightly stranger America. She can raise the ghosts of dead animals, a skill passed down through generations of her Lipan Apache family. So it's supposed to be really top drawer, so I'm really looking forward to that one. And that should go, well, that's, all right, this is where I get confused because I've got a whole pile of ones that I'm really looking forward to. I guess they're mostly all new. We'll put Alatso here. These are the three that I had bought from the library, British Library Women's Writers Series. Gotta finish. This is another one that I have been waiting to read for a long time, Inconvenient Indian, Thomas King. He is also one of my top favorite authors. Now, some people say he's Canadian, some people American. I guess it just depends. But this is a for sure read. This is absolutely a for sure read. Then I have these three books that are from Persephone Press, which have been here a long time, and I've kind of lost the impetus around them. I know I want to read them, but I think what I'm going to do is just feather them, do like one July, August, and September, and break them up. So we'll do that. Okay, another one. You know what? I told you a lie. An Inconvenient Indians is Thomas King's older book that I wanted to reread, so this is definitely a reread. This is the new book, Indians on Vacation, and this is the one that I've been really waiting to get my teeth sunk into. So I think what I'm going to do is the ones that I'm really, really like keen on, I'm going to do a little bit for each month, so that way I know I've got something positive coming each month. So let's see. I guess that's kind of it. I've got a book of a pile of confusion, pile of audio. So what I'm going to do for a few minutes, these are all library books. Oh my goodness. Oh yes, and there's more under here. All right. More under here. Not to mention Pinocchio and Gilgamesh. All right. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take a few minutes and sort and come up with my pile for July. Don't go anywhere. Okay, getting close to done. The Lost Girls of Paris, Steve read. He says it's okay. It's a good filler-upper. So I'm going to put that in the end of the summer pile. See what happens. The Last Protector by Andrew Taylor. I believe he read. He thought it was pretty good. I'm going to put that in the August pile. This is a library book. The Missing of Claire de Lune. Yes, this was the book 2 in The Mirror Visitors by Christelle Debo. It's from French into the English, and this was a really good first one. I'm going to read that one in June, I hope. Under the Egg, I have a feeling I've read. I'm going to put this in June just to see whether I have read it or not. A Blade of Grass is a borrowed book. I think it's kind of a homey type story. So I'm going to put that into August. August is the bigger pile because we're at camp for the whole month, whereas July, we're back and forth a little bit. Normal People by Sally Rooney, I don't remember. Oh, let me see, small town type story, August. Graham Norton, this is one I've been meaning to get for a long time, found it from the library. He is the host of a comedy, well, like a talk show, funny show in Britain. I just really love the show, and I wish I could watch it in full because he gets performers and singers and that sort of thing to do acts as well. So I only ever see it from the Comedy Channel sort of 15 minutes at a go. So this is a murder mystery, Holding is the title of the book, and it's a remote Irish village. A lot of people were skeptical that he would be good. He's so kind of flippant and yet articulate that they just thought it would be a bit of like a finger poke at mysteries, but apparently it really ticks a lot of boxes as far as mysteries go. So I'm going to read that right away. And City of Girls has been on my list for ages. It just took forever for it to come in. I don't remember why, and as we've said in the past, if it comes in from the library from your list, just trust the list. It's also a bit thick, but it's a library book, so I have to read it soon. So I think what that means is I will take one of these books out. Grapes of Wrath, put it there. All right. So what we have now, 10 days-ish, 9 days left in June. So this is the June pile. Shouldn't be too bad because I think one of them I have read and one of them is definitely a shorty. This is going to be the July pile. I have, I don't know if you can see that. Oh, I hope you can see that. Gathering Moss, Thomas King, Hitchhiker's Guide, a classic, Alazzo, the Graham Norton book, The City of Girls, and Jason Reynolds. That's July. August is huge. There's this pile here. I'll probably get more, right? Because you got to go to the library. The library needs us in the summer. It needs me to go and get books. And I do have quite a waiting list of books that I'd like to put back on hold. And what I've done for September is I've put the ones that I'm not exactly tentative about. It's just that some of them are similar in tone or plot or something. So from there on up, that's September. And in behind that, I guess I've started October. Anyways, that's the beginning. This is a kind of a weird video. Too many titles, too many books. Don't we all feel it? I hope your reading ventures and dreams continue to come true, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.